Good morning to another episode of Coffee with Casper. So for this episode, what we're going to talk about is going to be the sit position. And to cover the sit position, we're not going to necessarily teach you guys how to get your dogs how to sit. What we're going to talk about is why your dogs get confused and why they don't always sit the first time every time. And to be able to cover this, what we have to cover first is going to be positional and non-positional commands. So the first thing about this is when we talk about eye contact, when we cover the name, neither one of those are going to be positional. I don't care where my dog's located when I ask for them to look at me. I don't care if they're over here, I don't care if they're over there, I don't care if they're sitting, standing, or laying down. It doesn't matter to me at all what they're doing. I just want them to look up at me. So that's a non-positional command. So now when we start getting into the sit position, now I expect them to be in a specific location. The more specific the location is, the faster the dog understands it and does exactly what I want them to do. So as I start working this, and you'll see exactly what happens when I do show you exactly what I mean, but the sit position and a lot of the positional commands, when we start looking at what a sit is and how it works, you'll understand very, very quickly that when the dog isn't in a position that we expect, it gets very confusing very quickly to a dog. So the first thing we have to look at is the positional commands to a non-positional command. A non-positional command means anywhere at all that the dog wants to be. The dog is. When we look at a positional command, it means an exact location, and then that exact location has to go off of either us, an item, another, for instance, a room. You can utilize a bed. You can utilize any space at all. Anything that the dog can isolate. We can use cracks in the floor as a boundary line. All those would be positional commands. So there's a lot of imagination that can go into it and a lot of things that you can give your commands for. Also distance. Any distance can be utilized as a positional command. So when I do bring my dog on over here, what I'm going to show you guys is the differences between positional and non-positional, and then also how this works and what we're doing as far as confusing our dogs in the actual sit position itself. All right, so I'm going to get Axe over here. So, in general, everybody here would think that this is a sit position. There's no reason to think that he is not sitting. We would agree, he is sitting. But to a dog, and every other dog, we need to look at a position in association not only with what they're doing, the action of what they're doing, but also the position of where they are in relationship to the surroundings. Now you see how he's kind of trying to lean on into me already. All right? So when I turn around and I change this up, watch what happens when I pull out my treat. All right? So if I tell him, Axe, sit, he's going to come into me, he's going to line up with me, and then this is actually a sit position. Okay? So what happens? What changes? How does this matter? Axe down. Well, the biggest thing is that the action of sitting, just putting your butt on the ground, doesn't change anything. It doesn't make the sit happen. It doesn't make the sit be a sit. What actually is making the sit happen is being in a sit, or the action of the sit, in relationship to me. So he knows that when he has to sit, his paws have to line up to my feet. His shoulders have to line up to the seam of my pants. His head has to be looking up. All of these conditions have to apply for it to actually be a sit. So it's not just my butt being on the ground and me, sitting, but I have to be sitting in relationship to you. Now, when all those conditions apply, he can learn how to do it so much faster. So these are some of the things that we look at to be able to teach your dogs how to sit really fast and really efficient. So when we started looking at this and how this all ties into play, especially with dog mentality, it's a matter of going through and saying, okay, well, if you sit here, and we'll pop him back on up, exit. If this becomes a sit here, and notice I'm going to pay him because I told him to sit, and if I tell him to stay here, if this is a sit, and 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 this is a sit, we're getting the hidden, okay? If all these are sits to a dog, when I tell him to do it, which one does he do? Where does he go to when I tell him to sit? And that's the problem that we run into, is he sits there and he's looking in his mind going, well, one time I was here, one time I was here, then 3 times I was here, 5 times I was here, 4 times I was here, 3 times I was over here again, and now he gets confused. So because the confusion kicks in, he's not sure of which sit meant what. Now, we have different commands for each different location, and that clears up a lot of that confusion as well. Axe down. Good boy. So when we start looking at different commands for different positions, we have 4 different sitting positions. I have a sit on my left-hand side, I have a sit on my right-hand side, I have a sit directly in front of me, facing me, and then I have a sit in front of me, facing away from me. And then I can have a million more commands to put him into any other of those, or the other orientations that I just stepped into. So any other position, any other place that I wanted to put myself, I can give that another command. So I can have an unlimited amount of sitting position commands that I want to use. It doesn't stop anything at all from me giving another command. If I want him to be sitting here or downing here, and all of a sudden I want another one right here, I just create this command as well. Anything that you guys want to use, or you want to create to be able to use in the future, create the command. There's nothing wrong with that. So, when we start looking at what confuses them or why it does confuse them, this is the biggest reason, is we're not consistent. If I want him to sit in the same spot every time, exit, I have to treat him the same spot every time. Because as soon as I give him a treat, don't die on me, buddy, I need you. If I give him a treat here, what ends up happening, he's actually kind of hesitant to even take the treat here. This now becomes an improper sit, or it becomes a weird command. This now becomes a command of blueberries, and he'll take the treat really often. He'll take the treat really easily because it's a different command. It's the command of blueberries now. But now it's a 45-degree angled sit. And now it's a different command. It's that easy to add in another command or to change a command up. All right? So if I wanted him to sit, axe return, I can call him back to a command of return, which is our command to be able to bring him back to our left-hand side. And I can give him his treat for that. Okay? So we have all these different commands. Axe down. Good boy. We have all these different commands to be able to control the dog. And then by doing that, what we're going to do is we have the ability to be consistent, because every single command has a different purpose, has a different meaning, and none of the commands cross. If I had 2 commands that meant the same thing, I'm going to confuse my dog. If I have one command that means, go to this, living room over here, and then I have the same command that means go to the kitchen, and I tell him that, that specific command, he doesn't know which room to go to. That's what we get into a lot, especially when we started our training. The worst command that I hear all the time is down. Down is one of the worst commands because people have dogs that jump. Dog jumps upon you, and I hear the word, get down. Well, when you tell your dog to get down, and all of a sudden you tell your dog to get down, and you tell them to lay down, the dog has no clue of what to do. So our inconsistencies is the worst thing that we're doing to our dogs. And one of the first things that we teach our dog is to sit. But we don't teach them where to sit. And that consistency of teaching the dog where to sit starts our training process of making sure that all of our commands not only have just a good basis of the timing that we're going to do, but also the location of where we're going to do them at. So when we start looking again at how this works in to not causing confusion to our dog, we want to make sure that all of the things that we're doing are consistent. And then also, is it a positional command or is it a non-positional command? Non-positional means I don't care where you do it at, I just want you to execute the command. Then the next one is going to be a positional command. Almost all of your obedience commands should be positional. Okay? So to give you an example, right now he is in a positional down, which means that I should be lined up to him. Now as soon as I say the word stay, he is still in a positional down, which means that he does not move. So that position remains positional stay. All right? So then everything continues happening. We're still positional commands. Every single part of this is still positional. Now that eye contact at this point is actually a positional eye contact because he's in a positional command, or positional command, sorry. So we still have eye contact. Now, if he was just roaming the house, that would be a non-positional because I'm not training it to be in a specific location. I just want to make sure that when I say his name, Axe, he's going to look up at me, and I'm going to, good boy. Now, I would never reward the stay outside of proper position, but because I'm working that eye contact for you guys right now. But notice how, as I move around, I'm going to maintain that eye contact. This is why we teach that eye contact from all different positions, all different locations. But everywhere I go, you notice how I'm going to get that eye contact. I'm going to go behind him. He's going to look back up at me, and I'm going to keep that eye contact with him. And come back to perfect position, then I'll reward him. Okay? Every single thing ends up happening at that perfect position. So there's a lot of things that we do completely unknown to us that we don't think about coming back to a perfect position, because everything we think of is just rewarding the dog for doing the down or doing the sit, not doing the sit in a perfect position. That position means so much. So if you're going to do a positional command, make sure that you are always in the right position. Exit. And always reward in perfect position. Because as soon as you reward outside of perfect position, if I'm out here and I go to reward, that's the new position. And I don't want that, because now he's sitting here going, well, what's different? Why is it different? And all of a sudden, this becomes confusion, because he is going to try to figure out what happened, what changed, and why did it change. Because something's wrong. And he is now going to try to figure it out. And you don't want that extra stress on your dog. Because as soon as you put that extra stress on your dog, that if you've been here the whole time and all of a sudden now you're here, why are you here? What did you do to change everything to be there? So the less that you make the change, the better off you are on your dog, and the less stress you create on your dog. So if I wanted to work fronts, which is directly in front of my dog, he's a little off on the front. There it is, we got it. Okay? So we square off, paw to paw, foot to foot, and now we have that string eye-to-eye contact, perfect, beautiful, nice eye contact here. And now, again, it's positional command. So we're squared off, everything works perfect. But now, if I was way out here trying to do it, it looks a little bit different. Or if I was off to the angle, now he is going to sit there and wonder why all this is different. I don't want to make him have to wonder. I want to make sure that we are perfect each time and everything looks the same every single time. The more consistent that we can make this, the better off everything's going to be and the faster he's going to learn it, because it happens the exact same way every single time. And if it happens the exact same way every single time, he's going to pick it up so much faster. And then if you throw yourself off, he'll fix it. And that's the cool thing, is if I step over here and I go, act sit, he's going to fix it, come to that position, and then he'll go, okay, you want me to sit? I'll come sit. Instead of him just putting his butt on the floor. Now, if I just want a non-positional sit, can I make that? Of course I can. Axe down. I can absolutely do anything I want to do. So if I wanted to make a non-positional sit, I just change the command. So it's just put your butt on the ground wherever you are. I don't care where you are. And we get into that more on the emergency side of an emergency down, an emergency sit where something happens and it's a no axe down. And you stop your dog in place and you drop your dog into a down position, just because if something happens and you want to freeze your dog and put him into a down so that nothing happens to your dog, that's where we get into those different change of commands, and that's where you add those in. But you just change the term, so it's not a sit anymore. That's why we have front commands. So it's not a sit in front of me, it's a front. That's why we have left side commands and right side commands and jam commands. So all these different commands start coming out. So we have 4 different sitting commands. That way we have 4 different positions, not just sits, but 4 different positions. And each position has a different command. So I hope that you guys understand a little bit more as far as how position works. And then realize that if you have 4 different commands to get your dog into 4 different positions on sit, you can also do the same thing for down. You could also do the same thing for pretty much every command that you guys have. The best thing I can tell you guys, and I'll tell you guys this probably on every video from here on out on obedience, write down your command sets. All right? And one thing I'll probably do is I'll make it available on our Facebook page or on our website, is I'll allow our command sets out there, because it's one of those things that I highly encourage. I think it's one of those things that you guys should do. And I'll start you guys off. I'll give you guys some of our beginning ones that have the basics and the definitions. And then what I want you guys to do is copy those, put them onto a Word document, and then create your own and keep working off of it and make additional commands and then add your own definitions. So as you guys keep making your own commands, you can keep filling in your definition for it. So if you have a command of blueberries, you can add the definition of what blueberries means on there. All right? So from here, keep training your dogs. If you guys have questions, put them on up there. I've got a couple people that have asked me for extra videos, so I'm going to keep making those videos. By all means, keep asking, guys, because this is the series. Right now I've got a huge direction I can break off into. We've got people that are asking for kennel training videos. We've got people asking for service dog task training videos. So, I will go every direction that you guys ask me to go. Right now I'm trying to make 2 or 3 videos per day and push them out, 1 per week. So I've got a lot of videos that I'm making. So just keep the ideas coming so that I can keep making the videos for you guys. Enjoy the coffee. I've got 9 more cups to go. So keep training your dogs, and we'll see you next episode. All right, guys? Take care. Thank you again for watching.